101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's a podcast host like me, and of course, disability advocate. No other than Mr. Devon Wieters.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fabulous, fabulous like you, Mr. Devon, and thank you so much for being part on Book 101 review. Can you please introduce more about yourself?
I'm Devon Wieters. I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm a podcaster. I have my own podcast called Wheel with It. People can go to wheelwithit.com to find out more about that. And yeah, I'm a disability advocate, advocating for different reforms in the disability community and or that would impact the disability community, and excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Book 101, and thank you so much for being part on Book 101 review. And today, I heard that you will recommend a book for my listeners.
Yes.
So, what will be the title of the book?
The title of the book is Hillbilly Elegy, and it's by Vice President, now Vice President J.D. Vance. So that is my book recommendation, and I hope I don't like to force politics on anybody. I'm not going to say who I voted for, but regardless of your politics, it's an awesome book. So I hope everybody will read
It's
it.
yes, it's an awesome book. So let's talk about it and digging of what inside the hillbilly allergy. Is it okay for you, Devin?
Yes, I think I can talk. JD could probably talk about a little lot more intelligent than me, but I'm here, so I can talk about
Definitely.
it.
Definitely. So, what was the most difficult part of writing this book,
well,
according to the author?
I didn't write it. I mean, and I can't speak for him, but
Okay.
I would. I mean,
What
I've
did
never met him or anything, but I would. I don't
so?
know what the most difficult part was. You'd have to ask him that.
Yes, for sure. So, how has the family responded to the book itself?
Well, I don't know that. Like I said, I've never met them, so I don't know that. But I would assume it's been pretty good. I don't know. The book has seemed to have done well, so.
True. So, tell us the synopsis of the book.
So the synopsis of the book is it's about him growing up in poverty and a lot of abuse, which thank God I didn't face in my own family, but some of the issues that he and his community faced, and they're similar to some of my own, so that's why I chose that the book.
Yes, interesting indeed. Which chapter did you like best?
Oh my God, there's probably gonna be a million memes of me saying this, but I like the afterword the best because that's where he makes an argument for why we need to reform the welfare system, which is something that I advocate for. So that's why I like that the best.
Awesome. So, can you read some of your favorite chapter of the book?
Um, can I read? Can I read some
Yes,
of it?
probably yes, you can. For sure, you can read, Devin.
Okay.
Please do read
Okay.
your favorite chapter.
You want me to read? You want me to? Okay. I have a quote. Would you like me to pull that up?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so it says, um, I doubt that the 1960s approach to welfare has made it easier for our country's poor children to achieve their dreams. But those of us on the right are deluding ourselves if we fail to acknowledge that it did accomplish something else. It prevented a lot of suffering and made it possible for people to access food and medicine when they were too poor, too sick, or too old to buy it themselves. This isn't nothing. To me, the fundamental question of our domestic politics over the next generation is how to continue to protect our society's less fortunate while simultaneously enabling advancement and mobility. Hold on. Advancement and mobility for everyone. We can easily create a welfare state that accepts the fact of a permanent American underclass, one where family dysfunction, childhood trauma, cultural segregation, and hopelessness coexist with some basic measure of substance. Or we can do something considerably more difficult, reject the notion of a permanent American underclass.
Very well said, Devin. Very well said. Good job. So, which character or relationship in the memoir resonated with you the most and why?
Well, it wasn't any particular. Well, I love JD's grandmother because while our grandmothers were different, I have a very close relationship with my grandmother, so it kind of reminded me of that. Um, but other than that, it wasn't a specific character as much as quotes like I just read about how we need to reform the welfare system. So
For sure. Did the book change your perspective on challenges faced by working class families in rural America?
yes, it definitely did. It definitely made me grateful for my peaceful upbringing because when I read stuff about people who go through stuff like that, I'm like, how are they functioning? But yeah, it definitely did, and it definitely um, made me grateful for my um, peaceful upbringing. So,
Certainly. So, how did J.D. Vance upbringing shape his values and his definition of success?
well, again, you'd have to ask him that, but I don't know. But I would, I would say that he, you know, he's got children that are financially well off, which is more than he saw and he had when he was growing up. So that's probably one thing he would say.
Certainly. So, what role did education play in J.D.'s personal journey?
Well, I think it gave him a way out of poverty for one. Uh, but other than that, like I said, haven't met them, so you'd have to ask him that. But
For sure. So, do you believe it's the key to bringing generation cycles?
yes.
You do. Okay, awesome. So, how did the influence of the Mamau impact your view of tough love and personal responsibility?
Well, I mean, there's nothing like grandmothers. I think grandmothers are like fight for their for their grandkids a lot more than we recognize. At least me and apparently JD's grandmother did. And so I just think that you know great grandparents believe in us uh, more than we give them credit for, and that kind of pushes us to be the best that we can be. I don't know.
Certainly. So, Devon, were there any parts of the book that made you uncomfortable or challenge your assumptions?
Uh, made me uncomfortable. Yes. Um, One, okay, I'll start with a funny one and then go to like a serious one. One, I'm kind of a prude, so or I was not to get too personal here, but I was heavily influenced by two people that were prudes, so I kind of was a prude. I love them dearly, but I kind of was a prude. And so, not my parents. My parents aren't prude. Other people. Um, and so, hearing JD's grandmother's humor, and that she cussed that much at like 80 something years old, like or 90 something years old, made me feel like a little uncomfortable, but in like a funny way, and then in like a serious way, like the abuse he endured. I didn't like reading about that, but yeah. So
Awesome. Very well said, Devon. Very well said. Do you think Vance was fair in his portrayal of his family and community, or did he oversimplify the complex issues?
I mean, you would have to ask his family that, but I mean, I think so. Uh, but and he didn't oversimplify the complex issues. I don't think. Everybody's got their own opinion, but I don't think he oversimplified it.
Okay, so how does Hillbilly Elegy compare to other memoirs you've read about poverty and social mobility?
It really gets into the double-edged sword conundrum that a lot of us have of if you try to make something of yourself, you will inevitably make too much qualify for the services, but not enough to pay for the stuff you need out of pocket. So that kind of uh, stops your upward mobility a little bit because you have to choose between, okay, do I get this medic do I get this medication or take this job? Uh, and I've never heard that be talked about. So that's one of the things. And two, it really like showed me how bad situations like that could be, as opposed to what most of us consider. Poverty is not as bad as it could be. Not that it's not bad, but not as bad.
So, what does the memoir say about American Dream? Is it alive, broken, or evolving?
Uh, again, again, you'd have to ask him that, but uh, I would say that it's evolving. I mean, we still have some things to do to make sure that everybody can access it, but um, but uh, other than that, yeah, it's not dead, but it's evolving.
It's
That would be
still
my
alive.
opinion.
Is still alive, people. American Dream. So, Miss, before we wrap up our discussion today, Davin, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, in its fifth season. People, fifth season, which of Alessandro, one of the specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We are reading our letter senders all over the world. So please do listen Food 101 wherever you listen your podcast. So Davin, if you could ask JD Vance one question after reading his memoir, what would it be?
Oh gosh. Wow. I would say, oh my gosh. I don't know. I would say, what was one thing you left out of the book that you'd wish you'd put in it that you didn't get to?
Okay. Devon Wieters, thank you so much for your knowledge that you impart to us today on Book 101 Review. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your podcast itself?
Yes, my podcast is Wheel With It. You can go to wheelwithit.com and it'll have all the details for you there to subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you there. And if you want to go to the subscribe link directly, you can go to wheelwithit.com/subscribe for the audio feed or wheelwithit.com/YouTube for video.
Yes, people, support Devin Wieters because if you support this podcast, more and more and more empowering episodes to come. So, Devin, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.